Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome back. I'm back after a long time. Um, this this prophecy is very disturbing. Um, that's why I'm sitting on my couch because I can't sit on my floor and talk about this honestly. I'm just going to start with what I was given. Um, so last night before I went to bed, as I always do, I was just praying and I was talking to Yahusha, and I was telling him that if there's anything further that I need to prepare for the times that we're in, if he can let me know. Um, and shortly after, he started to speak of famine, and it just started telling me that now, now is the time where I'm to start stocking up on non-perishable items and water and things like that within my home. Um, for context, for context, when I first, when I when I first was learning about Yoa and learning about Yahusha, because we know that um, we have to unlearn a lot of things that we were taught in Christianity. It's difficult. You have to really get rid of a lot of indoctrination and doctrines of men to kind of get to that point with Yahusha, you know? But I remember when I stopped going to Christian church buildings. I'm not even gonna call them churches. Christian buildings that they call churches. And I was told, Yahusha told me, stop going. Like, I'm not there. I'm not there. I will teach you about me, myself. And he did. But I remember I was reading the story of Joseph, of Isaac's, his favorite son, that was under the Pharaoh of the time. And there was it read it, there was severe scarcity of food in the land. And I was told to prepare and don't delay. That was, I think that was the first time, or one of the first times that I heard Yahusha. He said, prepare and don't delay. But at that time, I knew that he was speaking of get to know me, get to understand me. And that's what I did. That's when I started reading and really, really seeking him with my whole heart. And I'm really grateful that he gave me the opportunity. So when he is saying to me, now is the time, it's because now is the time I'm to make the physical preparations. I hope that makes sense. Um, so I have notes here. That's what I'm looking at. Um, there was a video um, called Economic Hardship that I posted maybe 4 months ago, maybe in October. I would advise those that live in Canada um, and America, because it's going to affect you too, but Canadians to watch that. I spoke of economic hardship coming, and yes, we're all aware of inflation. There's a housing crisis. There's a rental crisis. We're fully aware of everything that's going on right now. Businesses are closing. People are selling their homes because people just can't afford homes anymore. And now we're getting to the point where it is actual hardship. The hardship that Yahusha spoke of was not just a little bit of inflation. If Yahusha is saying economic hardship, you best believe it is going to be hardship. Because what's coming now is famine. Famine is coming. And even for those that don't believe in the Bible or whatever, I don't even know if those that don't believe in scripture will even watch this, but just take a look around outside. Okay. we are being put on tariffs, which is just another word for taxes. The province of British Columbia stated that by, I believe they said 2028, with these tariffs being introduced to Canada, they will be $69 billion in debt. $69 billion in debt.
Didn't shy away Thursday morning, describing the expected trade dispute with the United States.
We take this threat very, very seriously. This is a direct economic threat to BC families. It is an attack on families in our province. It is an attack on Canadians.
Donald Trump has repeatedly said that he will impose a 25% tariff on Canadian goods as soon as he gets into office, with the provinces and the federal government here at home saying that they'll retaliate. Finance Minister Brenda Bailey painted a grim picture of what might happen. A $69 billion loss in GDP and 124,000 fewer jobs by 2028. Unemployment rising to 7.1% by next year, billions in lost revenue.
Across the board, tariffs would be unprecedented in modern times.
Eby leaned hard into the imagery of war, describing the impact it could have on BC families.
If you lose your job and you lose your home and your community is devastated, that it doesn't matter whether it's because a bomb dropped or because somebody issued a tariff that shut down the local employer. The effect on you and your family is the same.
He says they're exploring.
That's about 20, by next year, it will be $20 billion. Not million, $billion in debt. Do you guys understand what's happening? You go to the store, products have gradually gone up. We're all aware of that, but it's going to keep increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing.
Canadians will be faced with another year of rising food costs. The 2025 Canadian Food Price Report paints a picture of added pressure to household budgets, predicting a 3 to 5% increase in food prices next year.
How is anyone going to survive? Like, it's getting out of control.
It's the reality for many families.
That grocery bill is $250, and I don't even think that gets you through the week.
Shopping lists that appear to cost more year after year.
It's mind-boggling when you can actually see organic butter at I've seen it as high as $12 a pound. I kid you not.
And in 2025, the situation is predicted to be even more costly, with the annual 2025 Canada Food Price Report indicating a family of 4 could spend up to $17,000 on food, an increase of $800 from 2024.
Gives me goosebumps. We have to organize more to make better lists.
According to the report, vegetables and seafood will see modest price hikes of 3 to 5%. But meat lovers will feel the pinch most, with costs rising by 4 to 6%.
Meat is going to be the big story this year, starting with beef. Our herd size is actually at the same level as 1987, and we have 15 million more people in this country. Same in the U.S. Their herd size is at the same level as 1951. There's just no product, and that's why prices are going up.
There's videos that I'm seeing on the internet, and people think this is how you handle tariffs. Shock Canadian. And they're posting Canadian brands so that they can buy them.
Quickly closing in on February 1st, which is when U.S. President Donald Trump has said he could impose 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. And that has some shoppers here thinking twice about what they buy at the grocery store and which brands they are supporting. CTV's Kimberly Johnson joins us now on this. Kimberly.
Patricia, many shoppers I spoke to today say that they are thinking more and more about what they are putting in their cart, putting a renewed focus on Canadian-made goods. But one expert says it can be a bit more complicated than that because of how closely our two countries often work together to get things into your fridge. Picking out her canned tomatoes, Peggy Chambers made sure that she was checking the labels and buying Canadian.
I approached it cautiously because I am very aware of what's happening politically.
Buying as many Canadian products as she can is more important than ever for her because of the threats made by U.S. President Donald Trump that he'll impose a 25% tariff on Canadian-made goods starting February 1st. Chambers wants to make her voice heard in the grocery aisle.
Looking at things, whether it's made in Canada, as long as it's not made in the States, you think you're safe.
A long shopping list is being shared widely online, naming popular grocery items, some made in the U.S., against other Canadian-made options. Things like soft drinks, condiments, snack foods like potato chips, telling consumers to look for homegrown brands. It's not known who started the list. Food analysts say a list like this can be a helpful place to start, but some American companies use Canadian farmers and distributors, so it can be complicated.
Do you guys think that you guys really think just buying Canadian products is going to stop judgments from Yahuwah? It's very heartbreaking, and I don't know what I can use. It's heartbreaking, and in a way wants to make you angry a little bit when you see the wicked, like, people of the world, they're so delusional. So delusional to the point that you can't even help them, because I don't do you guys ever go on the internet sometimes? You ever go on like Facebook, or you go on, do you see what people are posting? Talking about money, talking about 2025 is my year. It's just a complete delusion from what we're supposed to be preparing for. I feel like people of the world and Yahuwah's children are preparing for two different things right now. You know, of course, there are people of the world that do pay attention to these things. There is a small group of them, right? But if you don't have Yahuwah, you're not going to be prepared. You can have all the food in your house, but in your heart, you're not going to know when to go left or when to go right. You're not going to know, is it safe to go outside? You're not going to have that direction. And that's why it's so important. It's so important to have that unionship with Yahuwah. It's so important, you know? I don't know when, if I can find it, but there was a time, March 17th, 2024, I was praying, and I was given that right now needs to be an amplified, enhanced time of prayer and reading for those who want to be ready. This was last year, Yahusha saying this, right? So that's why right now, I can't stress enough, maybe this needs to be a wake-up call for some of you. The only thing that matters right now is your relationship with Yahuwah. I can't stress enough. This thing that's happening is really going to lead us into the beast system. Like, okay, we're going into economic hardship, we're going into famine, right? I hope you guys know it's going to be like this for a while, because in order for these people to create their beast system, I made a prophecy about this, I don't know, sometime last year. The beast system is here, right? So now we are moving towards the steps to this system, to this different world system, right? Because if you look at all of our currency, everybody's in debt, okay? They need to reset this world, and everybody spiritually is also converted, but they don't know that they're converted. Nobody cares about Yahuwah righteousness or what the Torah says. People even say that we're dead to the Torah. People say that Christians say that all the time, right? So Yahuwah's righteousness is not desired in this earth. his statutes, his right rulings are not desired in this earth anymore. Nobody cares about that, right? So everybody serves Satan, but they don't know that they serve Satan is the thing. So famine is coming. I'm going to read a few scriptures, I guess, pertaining to this topic as well. I'm sorry if I'm like, I don't even know where to start with this, guys. Like, this is just, I'm actually heartbroken. Like, I'm not happy to deliver this message because, you know, the other day I was praying and Yahusha showed me how many people in my city serve him, how many people in my province serve him. And when I've been given the gift of prophecy, I guess I will tell you guys, prophet us that are advised to give forth words of prophecy, we're hated. We're hated because sometimes I have to tell people that Yahweh is going to take their life, and if you're not humble, you're proud. And the prideful don't like to hear these things and maybe want to fight me for my words. Doesn't matter how soft I'm coming, doesn't matter how much I'm telling them I don't want this to happen. This is what prophecy comes with, right? So when I first had to give forth prophecy, if you check, there's one prophecy to this one church, and was going to take their son because of their wickedness. And when I received the reaction from the church, because I know these people personally, that's what really showed me, are we reading the same Bible? Like, I was so confused because I thought there was so much people in my city and that church would say, okay, let's just go pray about this. But nobody desired to seek further what I was saying. And it was so bizarre to me because over and over and over and over, how many times in the Bible has Yahweh taken life for rebellion, for wickedness, for provoking him to anger? But anyways, my point is that was a time that really showed me how set apart truly, 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 truly this walk is. But the other day when I'm praying and Yahusha's revealed to me how many people in my province serve him, I cry. I couldn't help but cry. I couldn't help but fall on the ground and cry. The point of me stating this is most of these people of the world are not going to be ready, is what I'm trying to say, because there's not a lot of people in Canada. I can't speak for the other provinces, but overall, there's not a lot of people. Period. There's not a lot of people. When you compare the population of Canada, there is not a lot that serve Yahweh, and it is so heartbreaking because these people are not going to be ready for these things that are here. It hurts because you can't help these people, and these people are people in your community. They're people you went to school with that you've known since you were a child. They're your enemies. They're maybe people you were friends with in high school or in middle school. You can't help them. You can't even help them. That is the hardest part, I think, of following Yahweh. It's an honor. Yahweh told Baruch, if anybody has read the book of Baruch, that in the last days, those that have understanding will be considered wise. And basically, there's not going to be a lot of these wise because they will have knowledge of what I'm speaking of right now. So it's the same thing that Yahweh told Baruch. Anyways, we'll read Matthew 24:7, 24 verse 7. And it says here, for nation shall rise against nation and reign against reign, and there shall be scarcities of food and deadly diseases and earthquakes in places. And one of my other prophecies, I did speak of the disease and the earthquake component of this verse, but today we're speaking of the famine because that's what we are advised to speak about, famine. Again, here in Luke 21, I will read. It's very sad, man. Very sad. There shall be great earthquakes in various places, and scarcities of food and deadly diseases. And there shall be terrors and great signs from the Shemaim. Shemaim is heavens. And there shall be great tempests. So this is the time that we're in right now, is famine. Famine is coming upon the land. I can't speak for other countries because I'm not going to speak on what I was not given understanding on. But for Canada, and if you live in America, most definitely these two countries, you're going to be affected and your life is going to change substantially. Your life is going to change substantially very, 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 very shortly. The world that we're headed towards is very different, okay? Peace is taken already. Peace has been taken from the earth. I don't know if everybody is aware of that. Peace is taken. I'm not saying tomorrow we're going to wake up and there's going to be World War III, but I'm saying with time, maybe give it a few months because we're going to feel the pain of it this year. Give it a few months, people will see what I'm talking about. Normalcy is of the past, and this event is going to change the world forever. Many are going to die. I'm going to read some scripture from Revelation as well. It's Revelation 6, verses 4. And another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was given to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that they should slay one another. And a great sword was given to him. And when he opened up the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come and see." And I looked and saw a black horse, and he who sat on it holding a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, "A measure of wheat for a denarius, and 3 measures of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine." I want you guys to understand these two horses are in a way simultaneous to one another. They are parallel to one another. Because we have to think, why are people going to slay one another? Because of these tariffs, because of the taxes. I don't necessarily know what's going on in America, but I know Americans are now starting to feel prices going up really in their groceries, right? But because there's going to be mass job loss. There's going to be extreme scarcity of food, and nobody's really going to be working. Nobody's really going to be working because of what's happening. What do you think is going to be happening on the streets? What do you think people of the world that are starving are going to do? People are going to be slaying one another for food. You think people are not going to be doing that for food? Because they will. That's why these two horses go hand in hand. As I said here, or sorry, as it says here, a measure of wheat for a denarius. A denarius is 1 day's worth of income for wheat. So for a loaf of bread, it's going to be your whole day, 1 day of your earnings. So we see here, scripture is confirming that this inflation thing is going to keep going up, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's going to be chaotic down here. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's going to be extremely chaotic, and most people are not ready. Most people are not ready for the times that we're in because they don't comprehend what is actually truly going on. And you can't, unless your mind is transformed, as scripture says. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. You look at life differently. You understand life differently because you understand it from a spiritual aspect. And many are not looking at things from a spiritual aspect. Life is going to get very, very disturbing. My message is those who have the opportunity. I understand money is tight for a lot right now. What I'm doing, above all, it's spending time with Yahusha, right? It's reading this. It's sitting on the floor. It's speaking to him. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so that's number one. That's 95% of the problem fixed. Okay, but for the other 5%, right? And that's just to make sure that when people are fighting, fist fighting in the store, when people are killing each other, because it will get to that point, when they're slaying one another, as it says, as we just read, I'm not going to be up in that. I will be in my house, esteeming Yahuwah for telling us in advance. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be grateful that I will be up in my beautiful home rather than being outside there. Okay? So that's the purpose. That's the purpose of the food. But the food, again, is not the most important thing. Understand? Okay? But anyways, what I'm doing here, my Canadians, go on Superstore, go on wherever you shop. I don't think like Freshco, and I'm not sure about Safeway, but Superstore, for example, you can go to Superstore's website and you can click on their all their deals, and you can see everything that they have on sale. And I would say oftentimes their non-perishable items go on sale pretty often. This is your beans, this is your canned fruits, your canned vegetables. Try to buy things that don't necessarily need to be cooked. Okay. I'm not sure right now about what the power situation is going to go out. For sure, in America, there's going to be areas where they're not going to have power. That's just factual. But you can buy ramen noodles. Because when people don't really have money, that will be great for you to cook. You know, buy water, buy things like that. There's a brother named Ron. He has a channel called Truth Unedited. He actually has a document um, with all of the items. He made a list filled with items that we should be buying in these times. So if anybody needs that, you can go on his website, or you can just ask me and I can link it down below. But yeah, guys, this is life now. This is the world that we live in. Let's not be delusional as those of the world are. Let us be prepared for our times. Okay? Don't panic, but every time you go to the store, start buying things is what I'm saying. Start buying things, buy lots of water if you can. So that we will be reading our Bibles when they're outside fighting. Hey, we will be sitting on the floor, we'll be reading our Bibles. That's what we will be doing. Okay? I wrote down everything. I prayed, I said, is there anything you need me to say? And the last two things that I did not say is that peace will return when the invaders are in power, which is Russia. I don't have much information on that. I just know there's going to be invaders, and it's going to be Russia coming to America. I'm sure I will have prophecy for that in the future, but right now, this is what I've been given. But we can see Russia as well. Russia, the way Putin is speaking, he's speaking as he's tired of America and having to abide. When America says run, then that's when we're allowed to run, is me summarizing what he's saying. I'll find it and I'll put what Putin said on here.
По правилам. Каким правилам-то? И вообще, если позволите, наши западные коллеги, особенно из США, не просто устанавливают произвольно такие правила, но и поучают при этом, кто и как должен их исполнять, кто и как должен вообще себя вести. Делается и говорится это все, как правило, в откровенно хамской форме. Это все то же самое проявление вот этого колониального мышления. Все время мы слышим, все время звучит: вы должны, вы обязаны, мы вас серьезно предупреждаем. Вы кто такие вообще? Какое вы имеете право кого-то предупреждать?
But the point is that the point of this information being told is the fact that life is going to be very different. It's going to be we're headed to the tribulation. I don't know what to say. We're headed towards the tribulation time. So it's going to be very bad for a long period of time, because they really want us to feel the pain, so that when they throw the beast system in our face, we say, give it to us, please. Because people will want life as they know it, life as we know it, how life has been before 2020. That's what people will be begging for, and they will think that this person is the Messiah coming, but it's actually the Antichrist coming to save the world. But people won't know that because they've been starving for how many years? They lost their home. They're living on the street. 2 of their family members got killed for food. You think people without understanding, and in that type of situation, who's going to say no to that? Because they don't know any better. They really don't. Right? But we know better. We know better. Okay? Yahusha is saying that, return to me all who are weary, and I will give you peace. We're not given peace the way that people of the world are given peace. The peace that I feel now, it's very different than the peace that I had when I was in the world. That the way that I was happy when I was in the world is very different than how I'm happy now. Right? It's very different. We're set apart from the world. We don't communicate with many, but yet we're happy, because we don't live for the way of this world. We're not worried about foolishness. I don't know how else to put it. We're worried about our Father's business. We're worried about His Torah. We're worried about loving Yahweh. That's why peace is different for us. So those who have heard the message, just a wake up call that Yosha is there and he is willing, because he doesn't want everybody to just die. Because the reality is, many are gonna die in their delusion. In these times that we're in, many are going to die in this delusion. Many are going to die in this delusion, but it's gonna be too late for them. You think that's what Yahusha wants? That's not what Yahusha wants in the slightest. He's giving the opportunity for man to come to him so that you can live during these times. So you won't be scared during these times. So you'll be happy during these times. I think most of us that serve Yahweh will be happy because finally we can stop living for lies. Lies. I hated going to the office so much because it's just a lie. Like, yes, I'm physically there. I physically have to get in my vehicle and I physically have to drive to the office and I do have to do my job duties, but it's all a lie. It doesn't matter. It's not doing nothing for me. And me personally, when this happens, finally, I can just live for the truth in the peace of my own home. Not to say that this will be a happy time at all, but yep, that was essentially the. I'm sorry, I've been going back and forth. This prophecy is very difficult for me to deliver because I can't help but think of all the people that I know that are not going to be ready for this stuff. Even if they stock up, they're not going to be, unless they come to Yoa. But it's just not going to happen for most, unfortunately. But my desire is that those that listen to this message will hearken and will come to Yoa. Maybe you've been lacking. Maybe come back, please. Please come back. Please. Life is changing as we know it. Famine is here. The tribulation period is here. The period of time that will lead us to the beast system is here. And it's not going to be filled with daisies and roses and tulips. It's going to be filled with starvation. It's going to be filled with mass job loss. It's going to be filled with mass homelessness. It's going to be filled with man slaying one another. It's going to be filled with the store shelves empty and families unable to feed their children, men unable to provide for their families no longer, and moms, single moms, anybody unable to provide for their families. That's the world we're headed in. So focus on what really matters. Stop living in a delusion, okay? Stop living in a grand delusion and let's focus on what really matters. If you can, every time you go to the grocery store, please buy non-perishable items, buy canned food, buy noodles. Superstore right now, you can buy 5 packs of noodles for $2. That will help you in these times. If you are American and if you are Canadian, as I am, you're going to be affected by everything that I'm saying. And if you live in America, it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse for you because Babylon is going to be completely crushed for your rebellion, for your wickedness, for your desire to provoke Yahuwah to anger. You see the way these people were provoking Yahuwah to anger in First Kings? Is that what it's called? First Malachim. Is that Kings? I think it's Kings. Yes. And Kings. Do you guys see the way that they're provoking Yahuwah to anger? Because we're doing the same thing today, but we just don't know that we're doing that. Well, not we, but you guys. So I say we. Woes are here. Woes are very much so here. There's so many people. I even have a relative who is very much so of the world. And maybe a summer or 2 summers ago, he was telling me he had this dream, and he was at the grocery store, and everybody was fighting in the grocery store. People are just, he said he was just grabbing whatever. And there was a few people that were there, and they were just, they were unbothered. Their hearts, not even flinching. That's us. That's us that are set apart throughout this world, right now, that follow Yahuwah. You see how kind Yahuwah is to give people dreams. Those that don't follow him, those that don't desire in what Yahuwah desires for man. Yahuwah is still giving these people dreams, gut feelings. People of the world say gut feeling. I'm having a gut in my gut. People are having gut feelings that something bad is going to happen. I go on TikTok and I'll see sometimes they'll come up on my page. There's people that they're not prophets, but they have words of this place being destroyed, or this happening, and they feel it is real. There are people that are just, they just want a following and they're making stuff up, but there have been people that I have gone and I have prayed about some of the things that they're saying, and it is of Yahuwah. It is of Yahuwah. If we go back to Joel, I know that this specifically was for the Israelites at the time, but this still applies to what's happening right now. In Joel 2, verses 28, and after this it shall be that I pour out my spirit on all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men dream dreams, your young men see visions. And also on the male servants and on the female servants I shall pour out my spirit in those days, and I shall give signs in the Shamayim, in the heavens, and upon the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun is turned to darkness and the moon into blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yahuwah. And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of Yahuwah shall be delivered. Just as he said, return to me, and I will give you peace. Please, I am pleading to anybody that cares. This is not a joke. I'm not joking. I'm holding back my tears right now, because it's so hard that so many people are going to be affected by this, and people of the world are not ready. They're not ready for what's coming, and you can't even protect them. You can't help them. But for those that care, this is a warning. This is a warning. Please hearken to what I have to say. You know? Please seek Yahuwah now while you have time. Please. Please start to stock up a little bit food. What you can, what you can afford. Even if you have a little bit of food, that will be better. Maybe for a few days you won't be up in the stores with the chaos. You don't want to be there, especially if you have a family and you have children. You don't want to be up in all of that. Even if you're single, who wants to be a part of all that? Many are going to lose their lives in our days, you guys, from this, but also from other things that I've mentioned that are going to happen. This is the time where we are going to see things that we have never seen before on this whole earth. No society has seen before. We have provoked Yahuwah to anger, and many are unaware of that. But I'm sure when these things start to happen, people will maybe think. So, if you have the chance, please start to do what I say. Every spirit must be tested, so please don't just take my word for it. Please go and pray so that you can also be shown everything. It's good for everybody to have their own understanding. I'm being very truthful, right? But it's very good to test every spirit, and this is what I advise everybody that watches most of my things. You will see me say, please test every spirit. Pray on the things that I'm saying about, right? We all live in different areas, right? Maybe you will not have power, but they will have power, right? Maybe you need to buy flashlights. I don't know. We all need to seek Yahuwah in this time. We all need to prioritize what is important. This video is one video I will say I need you guys to share this, please. I need this video to be shared. Send it to your family. If your family's not going to watch, your family, at least just tell them, hey, maybe you should stock up on a little bit of food, At least you'll feel a little bit at ease. Or even if they don't listen to you, at least you can say you're blameless and you tried to help them. Judgment is here. Hi. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Yeah, I'm not happy to deliver this message, but I have to be obedient. I will be back, yeah, willing. Let's focus on what really matters, everybody. Before we don't have any time to do that, okay? So while we have time, let's not abuse Yahweh's patience and his kindness. Let us really take opportunity of this is what grace is. This is grace right now. You see, people are not killing each other on the street right now. This is grace, and let us take advantage. Let us be grateful. Let us esteem Yahweh for giving us chance after chance to get right with him. That is all for now. I will be back when I'm back. Okay. Happy Shabbat, everybody. Bye.